Hey everyone, this is WobblyWallaby. Today I'll be using my free-to-play level account Apex Alpaca to show you how good Valkyrie can be. A lot of people have been asking if this class is worth investing in if your deposit is low. This account has 15% attack deposits, 1303 attack, and 942 magic attack. This adventure handbook is very achievable. With this account I'll show you the build that allows you to solo floor 1 to 3 Lost Isles on Brave, and after, I'll show you how I solo DPS floor 1 of Lost Isles on Legend with the help of my wife Saint. I achieved this using equipment with at most refined 12, so you can safe refine everything. I also use no event cards and no mini or MVP cards. Finally, I don't use any shadow equipment and very achievable blue ancient relic and oracle mirror. Is it worth investing all your ruins for this class? Stay tuned for all the details. First, the biggest downside of this class is obtaining the 6 second line ruins. All the ruins have a 6% generation probability, so if you're very unlucky, it will be very painful. But it'll definitely be worth it as you progress, you'll feel a lot stronger. I had to go through hundreds of saved up ruins to get this, and I did luck out on these star ruins. Next, let me discuss the skills. The 4-Winged Guardian's passive skill is where your rune's second line ruins will contribute towards more move speed and physical damage. Once you're at level 4, you will have temporary immunity when using feathers. The broken one is level 7, where you can reduce the cooldown of your Valkyrie skill. I personally don't think you need level 7 if your goal is to do Brave level instances. This is more mandatory if you're dealing with tough bosses in Legend, Apox, or Void bosses. That is to say, even if you don't have all these second line ruins, this class is still very playable. Next, I'll go through the skills on my manual bar for PvE. First is Valkyrie. This is the busted skill. You change your race to Angel, which is a huge deal in Legend instances since you bypass the high demi-human damage reduction. Most classes have this for a very short time, but at level 7 4-Winged Guardian, you can keep spamming this skill and use Valkyrie continuously. This is the reason why this class can outdamage many other classes in Legend. Also, having a 30% skill damage bonus is huge, especially since 50% skill damage is ideal for Legend. Also, you get the Endure effect so you won't be flinching while being hit. Next, she also gets lifesteal when she deals skill damage. This provides excellent survivability. I'd say this skill alone is probably the best skill in the game, so it's definitely great for this class. Next is Divine Wing Armor. This provides you with the incredible HP shield since you consume a feather whenever she gets hit for more than 20% of her max HP. Since you can have up to 4 feathers, this is really unfair. This skill makes her survivability godlike. Next is Secret Retribution, which turns your attack holy and gets a big attack buff. This is good for PvE, but in Legends or higher Oracle Elite levels, the holy damage reduction is huge, so you may not want to use this. You'll instead want to convert or stay as neutral. Next is Spirit Summoning, which provides a good burst and AoE. You do use up all your feathers, so make sure you don't cast this just before you're expecting to be hit by some massive damage. Next is Blade of Order. Sometimes you want to manually cast this so you have more control or precast like an Oracle Dungeon. Next is Command of Charge. You could put this and Valkyrie into Prepare for Elite and have that in the manual bar instead. However, I like to see the cooldown of Command of Charge. For auto, I have Blade of Order and Valkyrie. You can also put Prepare for Elite with Command of Charge and Valkyrie, but I personally prefer to have more control over casting Command of Charge. Next for Advanced Ruins. Here's my rune placement. The great thing about Valkyrie is you can use lots of red and yellow attribute runes to boost your attack. I'll show my runes in a bit more detail so you can see what Apex has to clear instances with. I don't have any incredibly busted first lines, so I'm not having some unfair advantage. Here's my Project Destruction rune. Here's my Golden Flame Star rune. Here's my Spirit of Fortitude Star rune. A high first line will give you even more survivability. Next is my Aurora Feather rune. Of all the ruins, this is the best one to reroll for a better rune, and pray for a second line. Once you can reach beyond 200% move speed, you can potentially get 50% more damage to your Blade of Order. Here's my epic Spirit Protection Rune. Next is Command of Charge Rune. It would be nice to have a high first line so you can use Command of Charge more often. Now if you're having bad luck, you can buy the Valkyrie BCC packs or the Rune packs. I'd recommend you use Smile.1. Smile.1 allows you to get discounted BCC and premiums for Ragnarok Mobile. They have been around for more than 8 years and have plenty of global business partners for other games too. I'll put a link in the description. Thanks to Smile.1 for sponsoring this video. Next for Aesir Monument, for newer people who can fill it all out, you should do that. But if you don't, I find penetration percentage, physical damage increase, ignore defense, and move speed are the highest priority. For Apex Alpaca, I have all the Aesir Monument maxed out. Next for guild buffs, Apex is not maxed out on many things. For Pray to Goddess, I try to max out attack and then magic attack after. HP Blessing is good for survivability. Next for Blessing of Goddess, try to max penetration percentage, ignore defense, and attack first. For survivability, max out HP. For elemental cards, since you can convert to other elements, focus on the elements you most often convert to and balance it out. Next for Sacred Blessings, prioritize Blessing of Goddess first before you invest here, especially if you're new and lacking cards, but if you have enough, then attack, magic attack, and HP are the priorities. Next, don't forget that you can get more refined attack in the guild hall by talking to this NPC. This is what Apex has, just a bit of the weapon enhance. Next are attributes. I max strength, then max int, and the remaining into vit. Next is gear. The challenge here is to create a viable Rathgricy using the cheapest gear and cards possible. I also removed anything that was limited time or through events, since people on the new servers won't have access to them. I also kept all my refine levels at levels that you can safe refine. For offhand, I used the Dragonbone Shield with 18% physical damage increase random attribute. For enchants, ideally you have the armor breaking enchant here for penetration percentage. Physical damage increase is great too. For cards, choose cards that deal extra damage to your targets. Those are the cheapest ones. Here I have the Water Monster card for dealing extra damage to the Golem in Lost Isles. Next for armor, I'm using Voodoo Armor with the 20% damage dealt to large monsters. The 15% penetration is fine too. This armor provides the much needed ignore defense. For enchant, Morale is ideal. For Apex I have Morale 3, which helps a lot to get our target of 150% ignore defense. For card I use the Moon Knight Star card for more ignore defense. For garment I use Leader's Pauldron with the 12% skill damage percentage random attribute. This is the legend level of this garment, and for Brave you can use the Brave Warrior's Pauldron instead. For enchant, physical damage increase is ideal. For card I use the Chucky Tree Star card for more attack. For boots I use the Dragon Slayer War Boots with the penetration percentage random attribute. For enchant, physical damage increase is ideal. For cards I use the Water Spirit Turtle card for 8% move speed. Next for accessories I use the Pendant of Ugin with the physical damage percentage increase random attribute. For enchants, ideally you have the physical damage increase or the Sharp Blade. For card I use the Moonlight Tendrillion card for the skill damage percentage. For my next accessory I use another Pendant of Ugin with the physical damage percentage increase random attribute. For enchants I was lucky to get the ideal Sharp Blade and physical damage increase enchant. For card I use the Moonlight Tendrillion card for the skill damage percentage. Next for weapon I use the Fanatical Arbiter. This weapon is important for its tier 5 effect, which lets you get the Angel Snow Feathers every 8 seconds. For enchants, ideally you have the Morale enchant for more ignore defense. For card, I'm using one Menorah Star card and one Menorah's card. I had made a video on how you can use weapon swapping to take advantage of the Sword of Hogne's move speed effect. Apex also uses this weapon and does the weapon swapping trick to get 20% more move speed for 10 seconds. I'll put a link in the description if you want to see that video and all the details. For head, the White Knight helm is great for dealing extra damage to bosses. You can refine as high as possible, here I am at 4. For enchants, strength or attack are great. For cards I'm using the Andre Star card for the penetration percentage. Next for face, I'm using the Silent Sinking for the skill damage. For enchant, try to get physical damage percentage increase. Next for mouth, Abyss Whisper is great for the attack percentage. Try to get the attack enchant. Another great free-to-play mouth is the Butterfly Breath for MVP damage. You do need to complete the first floor of Palace ability to unlock this. Next for back, I use Siren Touch for the MVP damage. For enchants, strength or attack are great. Next for tail is the Summer Banana Split. The higher the refined, the more damage you do to bosses. For enchants, physical damage increase or Sharp Blade are good. Next for Orco Mirror, I use the Combustible Knife for penetration percentage. The lower refined combustible knives are very affordable. For Ancient Relic, use Waist Size. Make sure you do Palace ability to guarantee you can unlock all the components and then level it up as high as possible. I'm missing one of the pieces, so my attack percentage isn't unlocked. Next for Shadow Equipment, Dragon Flame Shield is great for offhand, and Rathgricy can use this shield. If you use other classes, then you may want one that's not specific to Rathgricy or Divine Avengers. However, this will provide great attack percentage, magic attack percentage, and damage increase. For armor, the Chosen Armor is great for attack percentage, magic attack percentage, and damage increase. For garment, use the White Duke's Manteau for the skill damage percentage and attack percentage. For footgear, use St. Mary's Cloth Shoes for the attack percentage and magic attack percentage. Apex doesn't have any of these shadow equipments enabled. If he did, he would use all the ones mentioned and he'd probably clear things faster. Next for food, I will eat Strength B meals for the big boost in melee damage, Int Meal B for the magic attack, Normal Precision Stone since these swords have a weapon penalty to large targets, so you'll end up only doing 75% damage to large monsters if you do not eat this. Next, Slow Attack Alloy is great for 100 raw attack. Then, depending on what converters I'm using, I can use a Mastery Alloy for some extra physical damage for that element. For dishes, Satisfied Feast is great for the penetration percentage. If you need to exceed 200% move speed, then Original Will Fish Steak can provide some much needed move speed. I found on Apex and on my main account that I don't need to use the anti-death food. This opens up my options to eat foods that can better help my character. Next, I'll show the Brave Run. Usually I will show my stats first, but I actually save that for the Legend Run so people can confirm I'm using that free-to-play gear and my stats. So wait until the end of this video to see this or view the timestamps. First, make sure Divine Wing Armor is activated for protecting you. Against the Golem, I'm converting to water. I cast Blade of Order, then cast Spirit Summoning. Then I stand there and keep tearing through the Golem. I can tell you from experience, clearing Brave with low Depo isn't easy. I was surprised how fast he could destroy this Golem. It's stronger than my Novice Guardian when I attempt this with Apex 2, especially since you can convert. The ability to get 50% Ignore Defense from Blade of Order is insane. This allows you to not use Ignore Defense offhand so you can boost your damage more than other physical classes that would require this. Next, against Sea Spirit, I swap in my Mao Guai card to deal more damage to ghost monsters. If you're free to play, definitely swap cards as needed to deal more damage. I cast Sacred Retribution to deal holy damage this time. I cast Valkyrie, then run towards him. I cast Blade of Order quickly, followed by Spirit Summoning for burst. Then keep casting Blade of Order. You will see that I swap to Sword of Hongmei for the move speed, then I swap back. Then cast Commando Charge to make sure we have more than 200% move speed when I'm soloing. Fantastic, the Sea Spirit goes down quickly. For the third floor, I swap back to my Moonlight Tendrillion cards. Against this boss, I go neutral. Once Sacred Retribution wears off from the last floor, it'll become neutral, which is very convenient. I do the same steps as before. I burst down the boss quickly. On the second stage, Drake goes down quickly too. Here I manually precast the Blade of Order on the heart, then take down the red orb. I cast Spirit Summoning to burst down the heart. I'm currently stuck from the tentacles, so that saves me from death. Against Spirit bosses, this class is crazy strong, and I think it's the best free-to-play boss killer at the moment. You just need to work towards your second lines, and then you'll be able to clear it with no problem. Next is where I solo DPS the Legend Golem. I'm unable to clear this without my wife Saint helping me out. By myself, I can bring the golem to about 80% before I die to petrification. For this run, I'm using the Satisfied Feast for the penetration percentage. I'm also converting to water. I'll show my gear and stats after. Again, I do the same steps, cast Blade of Order followed by Spirit Summoning. I also do Weapon Swap Trick to get the move speed. Whenever Valkyrie refreshes, I make sure I manually cast it. Remaining as an angel will boost your damage like crazy since you bypass the high demi-human reduction in Legend. This continues for a while, so just keep casting Blade of Order. You also need to be the target of petrification. If the Saint dies, you're dead. I let myself die, then my wife revives me. Then I keep going as before. The survivability is insane. I tried with other classes and you'd be going through potions like crazy. When the high damage meteor hits me, it just removes a feather. I accidentally place the rock too close to me and I die. I get revived again, luckily. This time I try running back and forth to regain feathers. I usually don't do this, but since it's taking a while with free-to-play gear, I'll try it out. You definitely don't want to run away too far so the golem gets out of range of your Blade of Orders. I get petrified again and then await my death. I'm revived, then continue. I get petrified one last time. I'm revived and continue. The slowness in DPS means I can't clear 2F since the Sea Spirit gets too crazy later on. The golem is manageable. After a while, the golem goes down. Incredibly, this free-to-play level character can do it. I think this is truly impossible for other classes to pull off at this level of gear and deposits. Next, this was the gear I had used for the run. I did need to use the fluorite button with the 12% water attack random attribute for more damage. This is a lifesaver versus this boss. Here I show you that I ate the same foods that I mentioned before. I did use a satisfied feast for the penetration percentage. From the combat stats, you can see I did all of the damage. Valkyrie also has heal, so surprisingly I get a lot of treat as well. Again, I'll show you my Avenger handbook. It is at 15% deposit. My stats with sub buffs is 14,000 attack and 5,668 magic attack. I have 76.5% penetration, 55% skill damage increase. The Valkyrie skill does add 30% damage increase, which is insane. My damage is at 70.5%. My physical damage increase is to 85.7%. My ignore defense is at 154%. And Blade of Order makes up the remaining 50%, so I can get 200% ignore defense. My water damage is at 45%. Thanks to my wife Saint's Fiery Fairy for supporting me, otherwise I would not be able to clear this. I hope you see the potential of Rathgricy even for free-to-play players. It's definitely worth investing in. If you enjoyed this video, please like, comment, and subscribe. Here's a video that I would recommend, and if you want more Rathgricy content, check out this video playlist over here.